Reserve time. 10 seconds remaining. Radiant team ban.
Queen of pain.
Dire team pick. Radiant team pick. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time.
Night Stalker. Shadow Fiend.
Dire team pick. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
Mother.
Dire team ban. Radiant team ban. Dire team ban. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time. Radiant team ban. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time. Radiant team pick. Ten seconds remaining.
Lena.
Dire team pick. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time.
vengeful spirit.
Radiant team pick.
Sven stands ready.
Dire team pick. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time.
Wraith King!
Radiant team ban. Dire team ban. Ten seconds remaining. Radiant team pick.
Clockwork!
Dire team pick. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time.
The sack!
Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Prepare for battle.
Thanks so much to the guys on the panel for, of course, breaking down that draft for us. And we're going to get into the game in just a second. But thank you so much for joining us here on day 2 of the EU Qualifier. We couldn't start out with a better game, honestly. My name is Walt. Joining me today is Sind. And this is going to be a good matchup. It's going to determine whether Alliance moves on, whether 4CL can stay in the running. But it's not going to be an easy game by any stretch for 4CL, Sind.
No, I think this is a... I had this thought about the draft that it's weird in the sense that 4 Clovers, I think, don't have really good counters to Brood and Lane. I think if they do very well with Sven Lina, it can become a problem. But then at the same time, Alliance's remaining 4 heroes, I don't feel like are particularly good against 4CL's lineup. So I feel like a lot of pressure for Alliance is put on Bulldog in order to create the space that they need and just set up so that Loda can have a good game on the Wraith King. If you look at 4CL's lineup, that lineup is godlike minute 15.
Yeah.
And fighting into this is ridiculously hard. You have a support Leshrac for that, and a Brute who can't join fights?
Not much
win the
damage.
lanes.
It's going to be tough. Also, the thing about 4CL, and they do it again here, and every time they get the Night Stalker, they seem to go for the same strategy. They really just like running at people, and they're going to be able to do that with the Sven if they want to get him involved. They have the hookshot available as well. Nighttime is going to be crucial. The Wraith King might not be the gank target because of his level 6, but also at the same time, I don't know if you have the damage on Alliance's side, and the Brute doesn't want to really roam around either, so... We'll see how the landing phase shapes up already. We have Bulldog picking up what seems to be a solving recipe. That'll be fine. And a dual mid for now, just to get things going for S4. Gets the null tally, has the 2 tangos as well. And we'll see if Pycat skills up his Necromastery, picks up the race first.
Man, this item build from Bulldog is actually super greedy. He doesn't have Stout Shield and he doesn't have any stats. He can die very quickly. Soxa is both Dust and Sentries, so if they land a Sven stun, this could almost be a kill on level 1.
Mm-hmm.
That's how much damage they can output against this 2 armor Brood with 473 health. It's like nothing.
That's before also, actually top lane, Bambo in trouble. They already get the Split Earth. They get the cogs off, but it doesn't block, and that'll be the first blood coming out from Loda. I mean, really good stun from Minuts. I'm not sure if it was set up with a Wraithfire Blast. I'd have to assume so. But easy kill already up in that top lane.
That's pretty surprising. This is a lane that Clockwork should really not die to in level 1, so he must have gone over aggressively. If they combo their spells with the 2 stuns, he does have a Stout Shield, right? No, he doesn't. He went Boots first, so maybe they have enough damage. But even then, I think his 600 health pool should be enough to survive those 2 abilities and just run away with his Boots. So yeah. He must have gone like really greedy for a CS or 2. Yep, good start for Alliance. This is a start I don't feel like they should have had in this lane. Or maybe, was Aki involved in it? He has full mana, I don't think so.
I didn't see him rotate in. He hasn't used his match miss, like you said, he has full mana, unless he used the Clarity, but I don't think he did. Bulldog is just being a nuisance. He's already de-warded one of the sentries down bottom. He's just sitting in the tree line now as well. He's just trying to make sure there's no pulling shenanigans going on right now. There are 3 heroes down here. Like you said, they do have Dust, though, and they have 3, disables, essentially. They have the slow from the Night Stalker, they have the stun from Lina, and more importantly, they have the Sven stun. So if Bulldog walks up and he gets caught out, he's just gonna die.
He's dead if he goes into detection. So he has to play really passively here. The good news for Alliance is that 4CL are tri-laning here. I don't think they need to do this. Oh, Bambo's dead again.
Gets caught out. Wraithfire Blast coming through with the stun from the Leshrac, and they're actually getting a lot of gold for this Lesh now. He's 661 gold. He can buy his boots. Meanwhile, the top rune spot, Pycat will find out. Okay, but he's just gonna pop the regen rune and head back to the lane. So. That's also really interesting. I don't know how this landing matchup is going to go. Quap is generally just a dominating hero, but eventually there will be stacks for Pycat to take, or just he can head in the jungle and be fine one way or the other.
Yeah, that's the thing. They don't really have stacks because EGM is AFK bottom lane, essentially, and I don't really agree with 4CL's approach to this. The Brood is a big problem for them to deal with, but Night Stalker isn't really providing anything down here. He could be stacking for Pycat, and then if he's like, well, if I stack I don't get experience, then they can split it, and then that way he makes his comeback into the game toward minute 4.
He needs some levels for when he hits that first nighttime. I think that's the biggest issue, and that's what they've done really well, especially when they've had Bambo on the hero and they played in the off lane. They get him levels, they start rotating around, they start getting kills. That's not happening. He's not getting experience right now. He is level 2. They've done a great job dealing with Bulldog and making sure he can't get up, but he does have a soul ring now. He can spam out his Q ability and go from there. So, but the biggest thing, again, is that Bambo is just having a rough time. But we've seen this so often. Like, Bambo will get ganked like 3 times, and then he'll just proceed to just own the game. It's just what he does, I guess. It's just typical Bambo Dota.
It is a decent clock game. I think the Wraith King is a big problem playing against, but he's very good against Lesh. He definitely has options against Queen of Pain once the Blink is used, and, well, Venge is a little tricky. Yeah. Always with the swap. Yep. So maybe not the best Clockwork game on second thought, as he has to play around quite a few things in order to make it work. Now he's once again trying to go for the side pull, but Alliance are getting very much out of this lane ward they have up top. I think it's set up at least one of their 2 kills just because Bambo tries to get the side pull and then Minot sees it coming before he even starts moving in there, and then he catches him off guard with the stun.
He does take the haste rune from S4, so he'll have to either refill his bottle. It looks like the bottom rune was also taken. Actually, it might have been denied by Bruling, I think. So he'll have to bottle crow real quick for S4, but Yeah, I mean, for the Clockwork, if he hookshots in there, and you know, there's support from Minuts or whoever, there's a good chance he just gets blown up. You know, he might not be tanky enough to survive, but if he's able to catch out like solo Admiral Bulldog or solo maybe Minuts, he'll be in an okay spot. But he can't get caught out himself. They do miss the stun this time for Minuts. They're going to chase him down for now. Ake doesn't have his magic missile; he's just used, and so Bambo will live this time, but he has to actually make a trip back home, meaning less experience for him in the long run.
Bulldog is getting so much in this bottom lane. I'm saying that when he has 10 CS minute 5, but it's more just when you look on paper how much Brute should be able to accomplish here. They haven't caught him yet. So
he's level 5 already.
Slow but steady, level 5, 12 CS, hiding in the trees. Now they're gonna dust. Oh, okay,
they got him.
Caster's Curse right there. He should be dead.
I'll say Void Dragon Slave, still pretty speedy, but he's going to run right into Saksa, and a couple more right clicks will do their job. And they're just going to give the kill to Swift Ending with the Stormhammer, just to make it, you know, add insult to injury. So a little bit extra gold for Swift Ending in that situation.
This is what I feel like 4CL could have accomplished way earlier without the Night Stalker being there. So he could have stacked, or he could have been in the top lane, or... at the same time, the tricky thing is, if they want to kill the Brood with Sven and Lina, the Lina has to dust and hit her stun for Sven to catch the Brood on the left-hand side, or on the right-hand side even, while he's farming the lane. So it is a little bit tricky. Question is whether 4CL would have got more out of the top lane by dual laning it with Night Stalker Clock. It's a pretty weak lane against these double range supports, so maybe they didn't really have that many options to play around with.
I think it depends on if you get caught out or not. Void, you catch somebody, especially if it's during nighttime, get the battery salts off in the cogs. Minuts is maybe too far forward, but obviously that wasn't the case. Bambo is now taken over the mid lane. Pycat will deal with the bottom rune spot. It's actually not taken because, again, that Brood link control from Bulldog has done a great job of just denying any rune control for Pycat. But he will go to the jungle. He has a mana for 1 raise, and that's it. Meanwhile, bottom lane, Stormhammer's going to go, and it looks like they will be able to take down Bulldog. Great stun. There's a TP rotation coming in. 2 TP rotations. One of them is canceled. S4 just moves down bottom and essentially gets nothing for. Waste of a TP and a bit of experience in gold as well.
So that evens up the score. I still think Alliance are in a pretty good position. Sure, the gold is now even and their experience lead isn't that significant, but it's just the implications of what Brood can do and how much how much pressure he puts on the bottom lane, even though he dies twice. He keeps the heroes down here. He hasn't really fed many Spiderlings to the Sven, and meanwhile, both Queen of Pain and Wraith King are getting theirs. Yeah. So,
and we haven't talked about Loda on the Wraith King. What do you think he's going to go for, and how effective is this Wraith King going to be? I mean, we talked about it. 4CL are a team that likes to run at you. Wraith King kind of counters that with his ultimate ability, and he's got some good protection as well with Minuts and the bench roaming near around. So
just please don't buy Blade Mail. That's all I have to say.
Anything else?
I think he has the gloves. So classic Loda right now would be Midas. I think he's also prioritized that in this tournament. I wouldn't mind seeing him going Armlet straight away and then into Blink, just so he can engage and actually take fights. Since, as the panel pointed out, later on, this Sven Warcry is going to cause him issues, and also the Clockwork can just zone him out very well. So I think a mobility item is more or less necessary for him to get into fights and do his damage. And better sooner than later. The alternative is just saying, okay, you know, we're fine with playing super late game. We'll just farm. Because we have a Brood putting pressure on you. We have a very well scaling support in the Lesh. And then we just farm Wraith King. I just don't know if it's that simple for them.
He's saving up Muddy. He does have the Gloves of Haste, but again, there are any number of items you could build with that, but it's probably, I would think, the Midas in this situation. They're going to try to push top tower, get that tier 1 tower, get some extra gold for Loda. They'll clear up the creep wave. They're even rotating up S4 towards that top rune spot, but they'll head back mid instead. So Pycat has 48 last hits. A couple of these coming from the jungle. Looks like he has something flying out now. I believe it might be just shreds. It looks like it is, and a full kill as well, I believe. Top lane, though, they're going to chase after Bambo. He's going to get Magic Missile. There's going to be the Split Earth as well. Wraith Fire Blast. They chant it pretty well. This is going to be an easy kill. Sox is too late to the party. LSA not going to connect on anybody. Void will go. Loda does have Reincarnation. He's got plenty of mana for it, and even if he didn't, he has that Enchanted Mango as well. So another easy kill. Bambo, I think, providing all 3 deaths for his team. Yeah,
providing deaths.
Well,
here you go, T.
He's got to provide something. Right now, that's about it.
Yeah. He has had a rough start. He's level 5 now, minute 8. That's generally pretty low level for Clockwork to be on the Radiant, but he's also been playing against the Tri-Lane, so it is difficult. His counterpart on the dire side, Broodmother, of course, now level 7.5, and he's going to start farming the jungle. And this is a problem for Shadow Fiend, because it's one thing that Bulldog gets this farm, but I think the worst part is that they deny it away from 4CL, who this is a really big resource for, and ganking him is super difficult. So this is... Good play from Alliance.
Pycat now running out of space to farm, has to sit mid lane. His creep camps, a couple of them are gone, and they will be gone pretty soon as Admiral Bulldog continues to move around the jungle. And Swift Ending sitting bottom. He'll take a pull camp. He's going to be grabbing a Morbid Mask, maybe picking up the Mask of Madness next as well. Not something you see too often, the Sven carry, but in this instance, the cleave against the Broodlings, pretty strong. Obviously, a good fighting hero. Like you mentioned, Warcry, especially later on down the road for that right click of the Wraith King. But it comes down to, I think, Bambo, what he can get done, and especially at nighttime as well. Like, how much is EGM going to pay off in this Night Stalker? That's the biggest thing for me.
Yeah, giving him a bit of space in this bottom lane, I think, is a very good idea. Sven, that's a little bit of money. Wishing he had some detection in the area.
If he had any sentries there, that's a lot of gold going his way. He'll get him low, but Sox succeeded, but he's going to put his sentry down now, I think. He's thinking about it. Yeah.
Pycat could be in trouble.
Pycat. S4, nah. He's fine.
By the way, S4 got a really big spike in last hits. I can only assume he cleared like 2 stacks that Alliance would have had in the jungle. Else having 82 CS at minute 10 is absolutely ridiculous. So yeah, he had stacks for sure. Some pretty big ones too. So he should be topping the net worth board right now, and he is by quite a margin. Yep. So this is a very fast Orchid he can complete in this game if he gets 1 or 2 kills. But so far going killless.
That's the crazy thing, is he's 0-0 and 0. He already has an Oblivion Staff, which that's pretty impressive. Like you said, probably from stacks, but they'll push pressure mid. They're going to actually go for 3 points into Edict, so taking towers is not difficult if they can get some heroes nearby, and they're going to try to go for the tier 1 mid. Meanwhile, they're just split pushing top, so you have to deal with the Broodmother bottom or in the jungle. Lotus is farming top, and now mid, you have so many heroes. Pycat going to get ulted, the Sonic Wave, doesn't get the Requiem off. That was the Death Requiem. Now Swift Ending TPing in. He gets body blocked by the Broodlings. He's just going to back away, it looks like. There's the usage of the Stormhammer. He's going to use the God Strength as well, but he gets stunned twice. They're just going to work. The Scream of Pain came out, the Split Earth as well. There's going to be the Dragon Slave, EGM in trouble, Heal Fall as well. The LSA not on the market. They're just running over them. It's 11 minutes into the game. And remember that this means everything for 4C&L. This game is huge. And they just lost 4 heroes and a tier 1 tower mid. They just ran at them.
That was really ugly, the way they ended up taking that fight. It's one thing your Shadow Fiend gets caught, then you TP in the Sven to try to help. He goes for a really optimistic stun that actually catches S4 because he's like, there's no way you're even trying for this. And then he gets it. And even though the stun lands, they can't follow up because Lina isn't in position. Then she dies. And then the Night Stalker, who has Darkness ready, doesn't pop it, even though it would overlap with nighttime. He still hasn't used it. I'm not sure what, if EGM thinks this is going to be very valuable during the night to reduce the vision a little bit. And now it's finally going to hit night. That was really not good. Alliance have a mega lead already. 7,500 gold at minute 12 with a Brood off lane who's just jungling. I love the Lesh build, by the way. Classic is just Split Earth Lightning, but Lightning getting nerfed, and this game with Brood pressuring one lane, like you said, and then split pushing the other lane with Edict is gonna... 4C&L have to...
I mean, how do you fight into level 4 Edict when you already have a couple other heroes running at you, especially a farmed Queen of Pain? It's just not easy at this point. The one thing I do hope for 4C&L is maybe getting a mega farm Sven. Pycat will run into the jungle. He'll pop out of the invis right in front of Loda. He does, of course, have reincarnation, so even if they bring him down, they're going to just TP in heroes en masse, and they'll do exactly that. They have 3 heroes rotating in, and now they're just going to get jumped on. S4 jumps in, gets the Scream off. Does he have the Sonic Wave? No. 22 seconds. They'll void up Loda. They don't want to chase any further. Here comes Swift Ending. The hook shot in. Can they finally turn this around? Loda in trouble. Split Earth will go on to 2 heroes. Beautifully done by Minus. 60 Bamboo will go down first on the other side. Pycat, he'll fall, but they get the Queen of Pain. Swift Ending goes down to the Edict of Minus. They're so low. They want both of these kills, and the Guna will pick up that kill onto Ake. And we'll get a double kill for Minus. But it's a 3-for-3 trade, and I guess at any point in this situation, a trade is good for them, with the exception of the fact that guess who's just bottom farming?
Yeah, I was about to say Mother comes, but Brood isn't going. He's staying bottom. And I think Bulldog is more or less getting 2 towers here, since they all TP top. Apart from the Clockwork, who could try to TP bottom right now, he's going to rocket first and then TP in. Might stop Bulldog here. He could have been a little bit greedier there, I guess, but playing it safe, goes back. And just into the jungle. He got so much out of that. This Orchid for him can't be far away at this point. And that's, yeah, he actually has it. That's 2 Orchids coming out for Alliance at minute 14. 4CL are going to be really hard-pressed to even getting into their jungle now.
I mean, how do they fight? How do they take any sort of engagement or skirmish when it involves those two heroes? It seems to be almost impossible in this situation. And just get jumped on by one of those two, get orchided up, and there's not much they can do in that situation. I mean, that wasn't a bad fight, to be fair, top lane. It's just Minut's had a great double stun again, and the reincarnation really makes it tough for 4CL to just get a kill and get out. It's just, that's one of the biggest, if not the most useful thing about the Wraith King, is just you can't kill him and just expect to get out of there quickly. It's just not going to happen. So, 7,500 net worth for S4 with his newly minted Orchid, and well, Loda was bound to get some sort of item sooner rather than later. He had he had a Midas ready to go. He already picked that up a while ago, and that means that his Blink is now flying out, which you alluded to, having more mobility. He can get in and out of fights quicker.
It really puts things into perspective, right? Alliance are leading by S4's net worth. They could take him out of the game, and the teams would have equal net worth. So the 4 other heroes on their team are worth the same as the enemy team, and this is the most farmed hero on the team to take out of the equation. That's how far ahead they are. Roshan is going to go down now as well.
They're just taking objectives one by one. They're taking fights. They're trading effectively.
This is starting more and more to look like an absolute beatdown. It was good that 4CL showed signs of life, but it's not good enough trading 3 for 3. They need a massive fight. Even winning a fight 5-0 is not putting them in the lead in the game, so they need to pull off something really big.
I think the biggest thing, too, is that the sustained damage from Soxa is just going to get destroyed because he's going to get orchided. Pycat will get orchided, I'm sure. He has decent right-click, but just anytime they take a 5-on-5 engagement, it's just a bad idea, I think, for 4CL until they can get some extra farm going the way.
Looking for Loda, his Blink. I love this. Good choice. He uses his Mango by mistake. Maybe he was hungry.
I don't have enough mana. Oh, my reincarnation's on cooldown. Well, you know.
I don't have enough mana for my 0 mana cost Blink. Maybe he's stuck in 4 versions ago?
Yeah.
Or 10 versions ago?
That was, yeah.
Well, anyway. And misclicks do happen, and it doesn't really matter anyway for Loda.
He's getting rid of the slot. He's like, I need more room.
Yeah, that's another thing. He's probably going to need the slot sooner than later, and it's... There's no mana burn on the Radiant either, so this Mango can often be really nice if you're playing against Mon when you're like, oh shit, I need to have mana to use my reincarnation, but he also still has the stick. He just needs to pay attention to his pull, and he's perfectly fine.
I'm going to agree with what you said earlier. This is looking like a beatdown. I don't really know what you have to do for 4CL other than just don't take fights, and I don't know how much that helps you because you have to deal with the Broodmother at some point in time. He's just in your jungle. Yeah, he's essentially becoming a plague with all of his broodlings. And there's not much they can do. They want to gank with the Lina, they want to gank with the Night Stalker, but you can't do that reliably with what's on the side of Alliance, I don't think. So...
They can't enter their jungle anymore.
Yeah.
It's just not an option. So you have to farm the enemy jungle, but they're not doing that either, because they're scared of the other heroes. Loda's just farming that. This, effectively, being in this kind of position for Alliance should give them about a 500 net worth lead per minute over 4CL if fights don't happen. Oh, EGM is in trouble.
Yeah, he'll pop the Darkness. Orchid.
Oh, the Orchid is a creep.
Yeah, he missed it. I don't know what happened there, but he didn't quite catch it. Now Bambo's going to walk in. They'll find Minus. They'll get the Storm off, or Storm Hammer off, rather. Loda's going to come in as well. We'll throw up the Wraith Fire Blast. Sonic Wave catching out of Bambo. There's the Aegis going down for the Quap, but it's a 1-for-1 trade, and the Aegis is now going to be expired. S4 will be back into the fray. Soxa misses up the LSA. There's the Wraith Fire Blast after the blink in from Loda. He's just going to right-click Soxa down. Now they pop the Storm Hammer. Loda hasn't died yet. He still has reincarnation. Bulldog is starting to come in as well for the first time in what seems forever, maybe in the entire game. Minus will pop his Pulse Nova. He even uses his Edict. Pycat will pick up the Lesh at the very least, but they lose the Tier 2 tower. There's just too much to deal with right now for 4CL. It's not going well. They do pick up the Blink for the Spen, and he has some extra mobility now, much like the Wraith King, but he still has a long way to go.
Man, Alliance is so far ahead. That fight wasn't even that well executed by them. They missed the Orchid from S4. The Sonic Wave was okay, but not great. Minuts ended up getting killed. He even ran into Cogs in the start. He didn't see him, so that's not really a mistake. It's just a surprise factor. But he was farmed enough to survive because he has a Soul Booster minute 18 on a support. Like, he almost has Bloodstone coming in for him.
That's disgusting.
I mean, Alliance have so much margin for error, and I think they still gained gold in that fight, obviously. I think they got 2 or 3 for 1.
Yeah.
They got the tower. They're going to continue the farm. You know, it's hard to put a stat on something like this, because, I mean, gold is one thing, but the other thing is the draft. I think teams with Brood that are 10k ahead minute, like, sub 20, just never lose. You can't lose map control if you play it just decently here for Alliance. So this was the dream start. I said Brood had to come up big, and Bulldog, well, he he kept them bottom for so long, and he got caught twice, but it happened really late in the laning
Yeah,
stage,
exactly. That was the biggest thing. At that point, he had already experienced. He had some decent last hits as well. They just didn't do enough early on in the game to make sure Bulldog wasn't a factor. So, and the bigger thing also now is that, you know, Loda has an armlet. How are you going to kill him once, you know, let alone twice in this situation? It just doesn't seem like it's going to happen. They're going to maybe pick off the supports, that's fine. But if Alliance don't make any mistakes, where's the damage coming from? Where are they getting kills from? They can't go into their own jungle. They don't want to go into the enemy jungle. I mean, they maybe rely on a smoke, but that is pretty predictable, so.
I think Night Stalker Ags is the only way out of this game, and he has another 1700 to go. So realistically for EGM, this doesn't come until minute 25, maybe 26. At that point, they should have lost all their outer towers. There's only one remaining even. They will lose the next Roshan as well before that happens. And, you know, it gives them a chance. It's not a full-on comeback getting that item. It just gives them an opportunity to maybe make something happen.
Yeah.
You can try to make smoke plays here. I would recommend it, because I think if you just sit back and wait for that Ags and hope that's enough, then the trade-off will ultimately be, yes, you get your Ags, but you're still losing 500 gold per minute to Alliance, and then they'll have 2 or 3 key items, so even if you get the jump, you're probably still not strong enough to beat them in a fight.
I mean, when are they ever going to be strong enough to beat them in the fight? That's the biggest concern.
You got to surprise them right now before... Like, imagine an Alliance get BKBs up. Like, what has your lineup really got? You have a Sven running in with Mask of Madness. He's going to die instantly to these Orchids and just getting blown up. Your Shadow Fiend has right clicks with Shadow Blade. That's decent. He has some damage, but right now they're so reliant on their magic damage. Their stuns, the Blade Mail from Bambo, that's going to be very late in this game too, will also have no effect against BKBs.
So maybe you have to fight before the BKBs come out. You have
maybe
get a big Requiem coming out from Pycat because he has that Shadow Blade. I mean, they have the situation, they have the tools, and we get everybody caught out with a big Storm Hammer and have a good God Strength. Obviously, this is all like, you know, best case scenario for 4CL, and we're making it sound like, you know, they maybe have more of a chance than they do. But this is their lifeline. They have to win this game. I'm pretty sure they have to 2-0 in order to stay alive in this group. So, and we'll see how it ends here, but it's not looking fantastic. Admiral Bulldog, as you mentioned, has been a nuisance throughout the entire game. S4 has done phenomenally without even really being involved in a lot of these fights. And they just continue to take map control, farm up, and be annoying, essentially, for 4CL.
Yeah, well, when's the next Roche? It's on 4 minutes death timer, so respawning in 4 to 7 minutes. Yeah. Alliance really has all the options in the world. I'm curious to see how they play it, because in important games like this, you tend to slow play. But I wouldn't hold it against them to try to make some aggressive plays with their Broodmother in the enemy jungle just to completely shut down 4CL.
Speaking of BKB, he's got an Ogre Club on Admiral Bulldog, so yeah, if they want to get something done, they'd have to do it now. Not only that, the Lesh, as you talked about, getting the Bloodstone is now inherently more tanky. You thought, you know, the Disco Goat was gone. No, he's a Bloodstone. This is a support Lesh. He's level 11 at minute, 20 with a Bloodstone at this point.
This is the farm you have if you have a bad game as mid-Lesh.
Yeah. I mean...
So... Ouch.
Listen, guys, I don't know what to tell you. Pulse Nova and Edict, still pretty good spells. You know, alright, Lightning Storm sucks, but whatever, who cares? You still own... and that's what they did. They used Edict, they pushed down towers, they had really good stuns coming out from the Split Earth as well. They used this as a support Lash, as it's just super effective, essentially. And they killed Bambo multiple times with him. They'll have Pycat go up top. He'll just try to farm a bit more. He's up to 1,700 gold, so another item could be coming soon. And he might be one of the keys to victory here for 4CL. He's got the Shadow Blade, obviously. He'll actually pop an Invis Rune, head closer into the jungle. He'll probably scout out S4. Does he go for the Requiem? Do they have any detection nearby? They have sentries. If Ake places one down here, that's it. That's where oh my god. If Pycat got scouted out there, that's where you just leave the game, I think. It's like, nah, it's
done.
I don't think so. Sorry
They're
about that.
keeping bottom. They might just try to smoke and go Roche, but...
Look where Bulldog is.
Yep.
Yeah, he knows.
I like it, though. It's a desperation play, and I think you have to take these chances when you're this far behind. They're reading the situation correctly. If they're just like, well, we can win late game, just slow play and try to farm, no. You're getting out farmed mega hard. So you got to get something done. They're actually looking for the Brood. I thought this was a Roche smoke. I think smoking to kill the Brood here is not going to yield them enough of an advantage, but I mean, a small victory is still a victory. but they're not getting anything.
I mean, Brood had his Broodlings scouting out, making sure he saw what was coming. Obviously, they were smoked up, but nobody was farming the jungle camps. There was only one person in lane, that was Bambo, who came later. So Bulldog knew. He's a bit crafty, so he'll head up to the high ground and Stan will just stay there, maybe just wait for the Roche respawn. And this all the while makes sure that, Alliance gets even more farm. Another BKB starting to be built for the Wraith King. Loda's going to be picking that up soon. So that time we talked about for big team fight abilities is coming and going, essentially, Sind.
Yeah, it's now a 14,000 lead, 10,000 experience, and you see it's only going one way. This smoke for 4CL essentially cost them gold to use, because they weren't farming in that time. They didn't accomplish anything with it. Now instead Alliance will be smoking, and theirs will work.
Ooh,
bye-bye.
That Mortal Strike. He was not kidding around.
The Bloodstone charge from Minuts, and this is a tier 2 as well. They can't fight without Night Stalker. Yep. This is a great smoke from Alliance, because they managed to do it while their waves are pushing. So it brings an extra reward with it in the form of an objective.
And in the meantime, Admirable Bulldog stays bottom, continues to either cut the creep wave, get in a couple of extra Broodlings with his Q ability, and there will be a TP coming out from the Venge. They'll try to go on Pycat here. Pycat does have a Shadow Blade, but there's a lot of detection on Ake. This should be a kill. No, he doesn't go any further, and because of that, he actually might make it out alive. And he should be fine. Unless he gets greedy. We'll see.
Oh, he is...
Nah, he's fine. He's good to go.
Let me tell you this from personal experience. These are the worst games to play mentally. Being behind against Brood sucks. You actually just want the game to end. I think 4CL are keeping pretty good composure. They also obviously know how important the game is, but
right.
You're getting drained because you're constrained. You're getting claustrophobic on the map. You feel like I can't go anywhere. I'm completely cornered. We need to get out of here. How do we get out? We can't get out. When we try to get out, we get killed. It's very difficult to captain a team in this position and lead the flow of the game because you're constantly lacking information.
Right.
You just don't know what you can do. This is what Brood is absolutely best at. In a way, it's very similar to what we saw at TI5 with Techies picks. When the Techies team was ahead, the enemy team didn't know where they could go. Those two heroes performed that same kind of role at this point in time in the game, where Brood, of course, is the better pusher and Techies is the better defensive hero.
Do you think now that more teams will ban out first phase Brood against Alliance, or is it just going to keep getting picked up?
I would first phase ban Brood every game, I think, right now, in the current metagame. If I'm not first picking it for my own team. You see 4CL actually knew it very early in the draft, so they had every opportunity to adapt to it, and it just didn't work. Bulldog right now has got 9 CS per minute, after he had 10 CS minute 6. So...
they're not messing around. He's actually the top of the net, or rather top of the last hit chart, which is not super surprising considering what's happened in this game and how much room he's gotten. And we'll probably wait for Roche, and then Alliance will go ahead and take that. And again, you kind of have to wonder what 4CL can do. Again, they pretty much have to win this game, and not pretty much, they have to win this game in order to stay in it, I think. So Pycat really, I think, is the biggest thing here. They have the BKB now done for Bulldog. I believe there's another one coming out very soon. In fact, S4 already has his. So does Loda. So you can forget about the big team fight ultimates. Minut's maybe going to get ulted here. Is there enough damage? That ult didn't do much, but he will get 1 raise and 2 right clicks. And Pycat might be able to get out of here scot-free. He'll just TP away. Now there's nobody nearby.
The value of that kill.
Yeah, that's
700 huge. Gold from killing the position 4 on the enemy team, minute 25.
Pie's a full S and Y, because why not? He's got some extra right click.
Ake too. You're in a mega. This again reminds me of this is a classic EG from TI5 where they're super far ahead. They're full map controlling. They're just farming like crazy, and PPD is the lowest net worth. We've got Ake exactly. He is really playing position 6 this game. It's very rare that your team is doing this well and you have 8 assists and a kill and only 1 death, and you're still lowest net worth. You're way lower than the enemy supports by about 1,000. In fact, he's just buying everything for them. All wards, all smokes. He's probably maybe even pooling TPs for them at this point. I don't know. I don't think I've seen Minuts buying a single item apart from bringing stuff for himself this game.
Split Earth will go, and they even popped the BKB for Loda. And there's going to be a hook shot on the other side. They almost take down S4. Last right click will not do the job. Ake getting right clicked as well. Loda's BKB now done, but he does have the reincarnation. They will lose EGM. He'll pop the darkness first and foremost, but it's a 2-for-0 trade. Couple of BKBs expended. I actually don't think S4 used. No, he did use his. but they still get 2 kills out of it. I guess the best thing is that Pycat's sort of getting some farm now, and they sort of rotated Bulldog out of the jungle. I'm grasping at anything I possibly can right now.
Bulldog's just like, great job, team.
He walks in.
He just shows up to spit on the enemy's corpses, then he goes back and farms the jungle.
Like, all right, good work, guys. I'll see you later. I'll see you in about 20
minutes. You guys
minutes.
are doing Roche? Great. I would love some experience too. Thank you, guys. And then he's going, okay, great. Go back into the jungle again. He has got 3 assists out of 15 kills, right? But he's playing his role. This is what Broodmother needs to do in this game. It just always looks fun when you run into a fight that's over. You're like, I'm helping.
4CL fans watching this game being like, I can't believe this is a hero in Dota 2 right now.
No.
Alliance fans thinking, yes, Bulldog is back.
Well, Techie's got nerfed to the ground, so that's the start. Now we just need Brood to get there, so we can play some Dota.
Brood's not getting nerfed until like a couple months from now. That's just how it goes. I mean, listen, I'm alright with seeing it a couple times. I don't inherently dislike Broodmother. I don't. It's just a rough hero to play against, and you have to have the right lineup, or you just have to be ready. And they clearly just couldn't execute against the Brood to keep her out of lane, to keep her away from the experience range, from getting level 5, getting level 6, and then taking over the jungle. It's easier in 7 Dead, obviously, but Pycat now with the SNY will have the Shadow Blade, like we talked about. Swift Ending going down means that his BKB is even further away. And now top lane, we're actually going to see Soxa caught up by S4. There's the Orchid, and the Soulburn should do enough. He'll actually just right-click him down, because why not? And just get the kill quicker. So, nowhere is really safe on the map. We've talked about this like 5,000 different ways, but
it is just that type of game. I remember saying one of the hardest game for me to cast this year was at ESL Frankfurt, where a team picked Techies and got far ahead. I think it was Team Secret, and it was just like, they were playing against Fnatic. You're just, well, they kind of lost the early game, now they have nowhere to go, they're trying, it's not working, and then you just keep, there's nothing else to talk about, because there's nothing 4CL can do apart from try to adjust to this problem. There's no more depth to the game. This is very, very one-dimensional right now.
Boda's going to jump in. DKB's going to pop. He has the reincarnation, and he's just going to go to work. He'll pick up one particular kill. That'll be on Bambo. He's actually low. The reincarnation's about to pop. Ooh, good armlet toggle. Swap out onto EGM. They can't afford to lose another hero, and they will. Stormhammer, too late, but they will pick up the Raze kill. It's just the reincarnation. They'll take the tier 3. They might even keep going here. They still have Edict. It's up in 8 seconds. Alliance are just looking to just take the base.
Nice
doing
work,
so
team.
Yeah, Bulldog's just saying, thanks, guys. I got bottom. Don't even worry about it. We got this. No problem.
Man, this game is so over. I can't.
There's just nothing. Oh, all right. Classic stuff, honestly. This is. You talked about demoralizing losses. This is one of the most demoralizing losses I think you can ever have in a Dota game.
I really don't think 4CL had a good game plan against what Alliance brought to the table. Putting that tri-lane bottom for the first 6 minutes and just letting Brood leech experience still and not finding kills essentially got their clockwork completely useless in this game. Bambo has been able to do absolutely nothing, more or less, compared to how impactful a player we've seen him be in the tournament. Loda got free farm. They won the mid lane Quap versus SF, who didn't even get stacks because no one was stacking for him. Yeah. I mean, it looked like they didn't know how to deal with this Brood, even though they had 4 picks.
It's an outdraft and an outplay, I think.
Yeah,
going up the top lane with Bambo. I mean, let me ask you a question. Do you think Bambo, had he not gotten killed those couple of times, do you think it would have made a difference in how this game had gone?
It's a hard clock game because he can't gank mid either.
Yeah.
So, yes, of course, it all makes a difference. I don't think it would have been enough.
Right.
But, yeah. In hindsight, it's hard to say what they really could have done. I don't think they could have run an aggressive trial and won that either, because Wraith King Venge Lesh is a really strong lane. Something like Lina Sven +1 up there also wouldn't have won. You know, that's a trade-off you can take and be like, okay, we can't deal with Brood. So we're going to let Brood farm, and then we're going to try to win our 2 other lanes so our other cores get strong, and then maybe we can defend towers against Brood and take some ourselves. Instead, they barely got 1 tower this game, and just lost the entirety of the map, focusing too much on the Brood.
That's the worst feeling. Your bottom rack is getting taken, and Bulldog's
ban it and play Dota. I mean,
Bulldog's memeing you while he's taking your bottom racks. He's just throwing out the dance games. You're sitting there and you're like, we're playing against the Broodmother, we're losing racks right now. What's happening?
What were 4CL's bans in phase 1?
Hold on, let me think.
They must have banned Wisp, right?
I can't remember. Don't ask me.
One team must have banned Wisp in this matchup.
I'm sure you're right, but I can't remember for the life of me. I literally just watched it and I can't remember. Oh well. Sox is having some internet issues, I believe, but
I'm looking it up right now.
4CL not willing to tap out yet. I mean, Well, here's the problem. Sven has no mana. He just popped his God Strength. He's going to try to run in, but unless they can kill Loda again, I
Command
don't...
Wisp Doom. I mean, I have nothing against that. Those are two really good bans against Alliance. But who had the overall first pick?
It was, I believe, Alliance, and I think they picked Qualifier for, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, wow. So they actually did have the opportunity to try Brood themselves. Very surprised they just went for... Their opening was weird, too, right? They went Shadow Fiend Night Stalker, I think?
Yes,
right?
I believe so.
Maybe they just didn't consider that Alliance wanted to go for Brood. That's the other possibility, that they were just like, well, Brood, in our other games, Brood hasn't been a first phase pick. Alliance probably don't rate it that high. But against an opener, like Night Stalker, Shadow Fiend, getting a Brood in the first phase and then being able to tailor your lineup around it with secondary round of bans is absolutely, it's like a wonderful entrance into the draft.
Yeah, I mean, and you want to worry about that Doom too, because that's what Bulldog's been playing a lot of the tournament as well. I mean, and I guess a lot of the teams, I mean, Doom's been very popular recently, so it's no surprise they banned that in the first phase. Again, like you talked about, they didn't pick it for themselves, so for 4CL, you can only hope that they come back in the next game, if they do lose this game, which is looking to be pretty inevitable at this point. But they come back in the next game, they have a good game plan, and they at least take a game off Alliance. And
I will give you odds. Well, I have nothing to win, because I need to give you so good odds for you to take this. There's nothing on the line anyway for me.
I don't know what we can bet.
This is a less than 1 in 1,000. But they can come back and win this game.
I mean, they just lost 2 racks, so... Well, first Rax is gone. Bottom Rax is about to get destroyed as well. But Bulldog has 4 rotates down there as well. Still has the Aegis, by the way. They even pick up Mech for Minus, because why the hell not? There's an Orchid on Soxa. He's like, I'm useless. I need to run away. They'll take the bottom Rax. Bambo will TP in. He's like, I want to hookshot somebody, but there's just nobody even close, except for maybe Bulldog, but he's just going to peace out as well. So they take 2 sets of Rax for nothing. What? Reincarnation, a couple BKB charges?
Yeah. They still have Aegis, yeah?
Yeah, they do. S4 didn't waste it. He's got it for 2 minutes.
2 minutes, go heal and go end top, I think is the possible play. Or they just start pushing bottom and taking down these buildings and then start pushing tier 4s and Broodmother split pushes top. That's the alternative. Is to force the fight at the ancient.
Listen, they could do whatever they want in this situation, and short of a throw, I mean, they'll be in an okay spot. And I don't know if there's really any way they can throw. I mean, you have 2 lives to throw away. You have Reincarnation, you have Aegis.
Well, in the original meaning of the word, you can always throw. You know, that's always, you can always be like, we want to lose on purpose now for no reason. So here you go, guys. I want to keep you alive in the game. Our old buddy EGM, we owe it to you. Thanks for TI3.
I don't think they're that good friends.
That's
That would be the dream.
That's the storyline. We haven't. I'm not sure if the panel talked about it. That's obviously the story here. EGM against his ex-team from 2013. That was the best team in the world for a good 4 or 5 months straight.
Yep.
Alliance were not only good at TI. It's what they're most remembered for, of course. But they got multiple first and second place finishes. Basically, Alliance and Na'Vi completely dominated the European scene for a good half year, and then they both started losing, and they never really came back, either of those teams. 2013 was their golden year, and 14 wasn't very good. The Na'Vi team of that time with Kuroki and Puppy still managed to get at least a top 8 at TI. They obviously weren't satisfied with that. Other tournaments they did okay in. Alliance were really not good that year, and they've just struggled ever since to find their stride again.
I mean, obviously you don't want to say anything. Obviously this is not indicative of their overall play, but they're looking pretty damn good. They're top 2 currently in the group, and it looks like they might even secure that here pretty soon. S4 is going to go to work on the tower with Bulldog. They're trying to go for a smoke wraparound gank, and I mean, they got to try something. Meanwhile, they find the Night Stalker. They blow him up with 2 hits. Stormhammer will go. Bulldog's just going to town on Swift ending. He pops the God Strength. It's not doing anything. Laguna will come out. The GG's called, and that's it. Stunzo McDunzo. And that's not a way you want to go out if you're 4CL, but Alliance just played a monstrous game. I mean, they manhandled them.
You're 100% positive they're out now? Like, there's no possibility that they get a draw?
I checked the standings earlier. If they get a draw, that'll give 1 point to 4CL, who I believe has 1 point currently. I just don't think it's possible for 4CL. I'm pretty sure it's not. But we'll get clarification when we get to the panel. But with that being said, I mean, 4CL just...
Yeah, they're in trouble.
That's all we can really say. Swift Ending didn't have a great game on Sven. It might have been a good idea. It didn't work out, obviously. Bambo died a couple